What's going on, guys? So recently I came across some content and the topic of discussion was the face of bodybuilding. And I thought that was really interesting because as I pondered it for a bit, it really made me think, how do you choose the face of bodybuilding? You have multiple eras with multiple champions and multiple divisions, right? How do you choose? Do you choose open bodybuilding because it's the open division and they're the biggest and supposed to be the baddest of them all? Do you choose, a division or a bodybuilder because that division has your favorite athletes, or you choose an athlete because that's your favorite athlete in particular? How do you choose the face of bodybuilding? And what era would that bodybuilder come from? Because you don't actually have to choose a Derek Lunsford. You don't have to choose a Phil Heath. You don't have to choose a Ronnie Coleman. You could choose a Arnold. You could choose a Lee Haney. You could choose a Tom Platz. You could choose... There's so many people. You could choose a Jay Cutler, right? There's so many people that you could choose to be the face of bodybuilding. Should it be the fan favorites, or should it be the bodybuilder with the most titles? Should it be the bodybuilder that's been around the longest and had the most longevity, like Dexter Jackson? What about him? You know what I mean? What about a guy like Sean Roden, who stuck it out and beat the champ, beat Phil Heath, dethroned him? What about a guy like that? You know what I mean? How do you choose the face of bodybuilding? You know, there are other sports as well that often have this conversation, sports like boxing, which I also love to watch, and I love to really spectate boxing and talk about boxing, and they often have the exact same conversation. How do you choose the face of boxing? Who's the face of boxing? What division? Is it from this era? Is it from eras years ago? Like, how do you choose that? And I think it's just such an interesting question. Could it, cause with bodybuilding, I mean, let's be real here. Chris Bumstead is probably the biggest name in bodybuilding right now, alongside someone like Phil Heath. And let's not forget Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even though he's no longer bodybuilding and he hasn't been doing it for a long time, he's still around and his name still comes up every single time the conversation of bodybuilding comes up. So why can't he be the face of bodybuilding? You know what I mean? Why not? He's done so much for the sport. I mean, he's almost everybody's GOAT, you know? It's between him and Ronnie Coleman. But for me, I would probably say it would be Chris Bumstead, you know, because I mean, he's been so dominant over the last few years and he's still competing, you know. Will he do one more Mr. Olympia? We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, he just won the last one, and I believe he's won the last, 5 of them, right? So it's like, why wouldn't it be him? Why wouldn't it be the Canadian? You know what I mean? He has the look, he has the character, the personality. I mean, you know, sometimes he could be a little bit he's a little soft-spoken and easy-going, but he has a side to him that you could see he's an assassin deep down inside. You could see it in him. You know what I mean? He's an assassin deep down inside. But at the same time, there are other guys out there that some people might say they should be the face of bodybuilding. Let me look at this right here. Let's see. I had some names here. Let me see what's going on here. Let's say you went by division. Let's say you went by each division, right? So the open division would be Derek Lunsford. He won last year. Let's say you went with the champion, the champions of last year, the top 2. It would either be Derek Lunsford, Hadi Choopan. It would be Keon Pearson or Sean Clarida, the Giant Killer. It would be Chris Bumstead or Ramon. It would be in men's physique, Ryan Carey or Brandon Hendrickson. A guy like Brandon Hendrickson, he's one of my favorites, honestly. And I just realized I was on his Instagram the other day, and I realized that he just got baptized, and I also just got baptized, praise God. and we got baptized the exact same day, which is awesome because he's my favorite. Him and Andre Ferguson are two of my favorite physique competitors, right? I mentioned this before. So that's kind of cool. And he's also a Trini, you know what I mean? I have a Trini background and he has one as well. So that's real dope. So like for me, I would probably choose him to be the face of bodybuilding. He's one of my favorites. I appreciate his physique. I think he's a tough competitor. I think he's dedicated to the sport. I like his attitude, you know what I mean? I enjoy his personality a lot. Like, why can't he be the face of bodybuilding? You know what I mean? Maybe because he hasn't won enough championships. I don't know, right? But why not? You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you really choose this? How do you choose this? I mean, I think Ronnie Coleman could even be the face of bodybuilding today. But unfortunately, because of his condition and the things that he's been dealing with physically, I think for some people it might be hard to see him like picture him in that position now, just because of everything he's been through. It might be hard for people to really see him as the face of bodybuilding, unfortunately, because I think what happens with people is it's hard for them to see their champions or their heroes or somebody that they looked up to at one point as the best or the greatest fall from the top. Unfortunately, I'm not saying he has fallen from the top. I just think when you look at guys like a Lee Haney or Arnold Schwarzenegger, who have just sort of aged a little better over time, even a Jay Cutler, for example, you know what I mean? Guys like that. And there's other guys as well. They've aged well over time after exiting the sport. I think it's easier for people to envision them as the current or the respected face of the sport, unfortunately. For me, I could see it because I don't have a problem remembering who he was. But you know, people are fickle. They forget. The next day they'll be like, oh, Ronnie Coleman, he broken. And that's unfortunate, you know what I mean? Because he is considered by many the greatest to ever do it, right? The greatest to ever do it. And I believe he has the most titles out of everybody. So for me, this is how I'm looking at it right now. If it was up to me, I would probably go with Chris Bumstead, Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman, or Arnold Schwarzenegger as of right now, you know what I mean, as the face of bodybuilding. For relevance, for longevity, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It's just the people that I'm seeing all the time, right? And I even watched a video the other day where with Phil Heath, he was interviewing Jeremy Buendia, right? Was it him? Was it Jeremy? Yeah, it was him, right? And he was like, he considered him to be the GOAT of men's physique, right? Men's physique. Let me look up real quick. Jeremy Buendia. Let me look this up real quick here. So, yeah, he's had three first place finishes at the Mr. Olympia and one second place finish at the Mr. Olympia. 2013 he finished second. 2014, 15 and 16 he got first place. So I mean, and he has other first place finishes as well. So I mean, he could very well be the GOAT of men's physique. And Phil Heath would know, right? Phil Heath would know. He's a 7-time Mr. Olympia. He's been in the sport. He's been, built himself up in the sport. He's a champion, one of the best to ever do it. If you're gonna take anybody's opinion on who's a GOAT, it would be Phil Heath. So maybe Jeremy Buendia is the face of bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like, how do you choose? I don't know. How do you choose, guys? You guys gotta let me know. I find this to be so interesting. A very, very interesting conversation. that I think should be had, because a guy like Derek Lunsford, even though I think he's a phenomenal athlete, I just don't know if he's done enough to say he's the face of bodybuilding. I wonder if he would say that he's the face of bodybuilding. I wonder if he would say that. You know what I mean? I wonder who would say that they're the face of bodybuilding and be honest about it. I'm really curious to see who would say that. Anyways, guys, I think that's all I got for now on this one. Who do you think is the face of bodybuilding? And should it be chosen by division? Should it be chosen by longevity? Should it be chosen by the amount of championships they've had? Let me know what you think the criteria should be when it comes to choosing the face of bodybuilding. Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, peace.